They called it the eighth wonder of the world, a room unlike anything humanity had ever created. Every wall shimmered with amber. Liquid sunlight turned to stone. Gilded panels, mirrors, and mosaics so breathtaking they seemed alive. And then, one day, it vanished. This is the story of the Amber Room, how it was built, stolen, lost, and hunted for over 300 years. A treasure so beautiful it became a curse, consuming everyone who tried to possess it. It began in the early 1700s in Prussia, what is now Germany. Frederick I, the King of Prussia, wanted to display the wealth and power of his empire. So he commissioned the most gifted artisans in Europe to create something that would leave kings speechless. They didn't paint or carve marble. They sculpted with amber, fossilized tree resin that glowed like captured sunlight. The process was painstaking. Every panel had to be warmed by hand, shaped like wax, and fitted into gold leaf frames. The scent of pine and resin filled the halls as artisans worked for years, polishing each surface until the entire room gleamed like fire. By 1709, the Amber Room stood complete, covered floor to ceiling with over 6 tons of amber, gemstones, and mirrors. When Peter the Great of Russia visited the Prussian court, he was mesmerized. The room seemed alive, like the walls themselves were breathing light. Wanting to impress him, Frederick's successor, King Frederick William I, gifted the Amber Room to Russia as a symbol of friendship in 1716. It was carefully disassembled, packed in crates, and shipped to St. Petersburg. There, Peter ordered it to be rebuilt in the Catherine Palace, in Tsarskoye Selo, near St. Petersburg. Russian craftsmen expanded it, adding even more amber and gold, until the room glowed with an almost supernatural beauty. When candlelight flickered across the walls, it looked like the entire chamber was made of molten honey. For nearly 2 centuries, it became one of the crown jewels of the Russian Empire. Nobles would travel from across the world to stand in its radiance. It wasn't just a room, it was a living legend. But history has a cruel habit of devouring beauty. In 1941, the German army invaded the Soviet Union under Operation Barbarossa. As Nazi forces closed in on Leningrad, the curators of the Catherine Palace panicked. They tried to hide the Amber Room behind wallpaper, hoping to disguise it as an ordinary chamber. But the amber was fragile, cracked and crumbled when touched. There was no time to move it safely. In October 1941, the Nazis found it. Within 36 hours, a special German art recovery unit disassembled the entire room, every panel, mirror, and mosaic, and shipped it to Königsberg in East Prussia. There, it was reassembled in the city's Castle Museum, where it shone again under the eyes of Nazi officers. And then, in 1944, the Amber Room vanished. As Allied forces advanced and bombs fell on Königsberg, the Nazis packed up thousands of looted treasures. Witnesses claimed to have seen crates marked Amber Room loaded onto trucks and trains, but none ever arrived at their destinations. In April 1945, the city was reduced to rubble. The castle burned, and with it, the last confirmed trace of the Amber Room disappeared. What happened next turned into one of history's greatest treasure hunts. Soviet investigators combed through Germany and Poland for years. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some claimed it had been hidden in underground tunnels beneath the castle. Others said it was loaded onto a ship, the Wilhelm Gustloff, which was sunk by a Soviet submarine in the Baltic Sea.
Divers searches de shipwreck.
Miners explored abandoned salt mines. Historians examined Nazi documents, looking for clues, but every lead ended in dead ends or death. In the decades that followed, strange accidents surrounded anyone who claimed to be close to finding it. A German historian, George Stein, who was investigating its location, was found dead in a forest under mysterious circumstances. Another researcher, who claimed to know the hiding place, died in a car crash just before revealing it. The Amber Room had become more than a treasure. It had become a curse. By the 1970s, many believed it was lost forever, burned to ash during the bombing of Königsberg. But not everyone agreed. Conspiracy theories multiplied. Some whispered it was hidden in an underground bunker near Dresden. Others said it was buried deep in a mine in Poland, sealed behind concrete walls. There were even claims that it was secretly taken to Moscow and kept hidden from the public eye. Then, in the 1990s, a new discovery reignited hope. During renovation work in Germany, a mosaic from the Amber Room, one of its missing pieces, was found in a private collection. It had been stolen by a Nazi officer and kept by his family for decades. This proved one thing: at least some parts of the Amber Room survived. But where was the rest? Over time, explorers, journalists, and treasure hunters have chased its shadow. In 2017, Polish researchers using radar detected a hidden chamber beneath an old palace in Mamerki. They believed it might hold the Amber Room. Cameras were sent inside, but it was empty, just concrete and darkness. Each time a clue appears, hope rises, only to fall again. It's as if the room refuses to be found. Today, more than 300 years after it was first built, the Amber Room remains missing. Yet its legend continues to burn brighter than gold. In Russia, a team of artisans spent decades reconstructing it from photographs and surviving sketches. The restoration, completed in 2003, now glows once more in the Catherine Palace, a perfect replica of the masterpiece that vanished. Visitors stand in silence before its walls, gazing into the golden light, wondering if somewhere out there, the original still exists, hidden beneath layers of earth, sealed in darkness, waiting. Some say it lies deep in the ruins of Königsberg Castle, entombed by fire and rubble. Others whisper it's resting at the bottom of the Baltic Sea, locked inside a sunken Nazi ship. And some believe it still survives, hoarded in secret by collectors or buried beneath the cold forests of Eastern Europe. The truth may never be known. But one thing is certain: the Amber Room is no longer just a treasure. It's a ghost from history, a symbol of beauty lost to greed, of creation devoured by war. And maybe that's why it remains hidden, because some things once stolen from light refuse to return to it.